Thank you.
Okay. As I said, there is a commandment in the Torah to reprove. If you see someone doing something wrong, you have to reprove the person. The Tanya, right there in the first chapter, he says that if you see your friend doing a sin, it says that you're called evil if you don't correct him. So it's a commandment to correct people. On the other hand, this opens up Pandora's box. Oh, I got a chance to reprove people. This is great. So some people use the Torah as a, how do you say, as a, they used to have, in what is it, in Spain, they had the Inquisition, right? So anybody not doing exactly according to whatever laws they were, so they tortured them and they had everything that they were really interested in God. They really cared. They wanted to just take out their own evil nature. Like I said before, there's two that kill mice. Housewives kill mice and cats kill mice. What's the big difference? Housewives kill mice and they hope mice will never come back again. They want to eliminate all the mice. Housewives. But cats kill mice. The more mice, the better. Because their nature is they want to devour the mice. The same thing, there's some people that they don't want there to be people to make mistakes. So they tell them, other people, the more mistakes, the better, so they can yell at people, right? All these guys against the Zionists, against this. Are they really against these things they claim to be against? Or they're just terrible personalities. They just have bad personalities. And they're just looking for somewhere, just looking for a mouse to let their nature out. Okay, so Hasidic doctrine demands that before you do reprove someone, before you tell someone what his faults are or their faults are, or to correct them, you have to, first of all, metaphorically speaking, you have to cut your own fingernails. What do you mean? You want to hold intellectually, you want to hold on to the person and say, listen, 1 minute, think of what you're doing. So you have to be careful that when you're holding on to them with your words, that your words don't have fingernails in them. It says that everybody has fingernails, but it says that evil is seized by the fingernails. Your fingernails are death. It says, where do fingernails come from? They came from the sin of Adam, that after he ate from the tree, ate from the fruit, so it grew fingernails. He became insensitive. And it says that's why Motzi Shabbos, we look at our fingernails to make a little light. In other words, that shines off the fingernail so that we can at least try to eliminate, to elevate, the fingernail. Anyway, every stab is klippen sitra achra. Every stab is what we call concealment of God and selfishness. Sitra achra means selfishness. After you do get rid of the bad, right? So in other words, now you're not going to reprove people because of your own bad person. And as you know how, let's put it that way, you know how to reprove people. You read books about it, and you know how to speak nicely. You have all these psychiatrists and things, you know how to speak calmly and very nicely, etc. like that. But afterwards, you have to do something a little more difficult. You have to wash your hands. In other words, you have to genuinely have the other person's benefit in your mind. Right, let's take the example of the psychiatrist. Psychiatrist, he's speaking calmly and nicely and everything, but really, what does he want? He wants to make money off of the person, or he wants to find what's bad about the person and fix it. Fix it. That was Freud and all the other sick people that came after him. You have to find for bad. Everything's bad. The source of bad is bad. Right? It's something bad. You just have to get rid of the bad. Look for the bad. Look at the bad. Everything is bad. The fact of the matter, it's not so. The reason that there's bad in the world is because there's a lack of love, a lack of meaning. It's not because bad comes from bad. Bad comes from just a lack of good. So you have to add good. You have to really care about the person. Everybody's individual. So that's what's called washing your hands. You bring water, which is love, and the love can only come from your mind. You have to stop and think, not to act like a animal, calling forth your intellect into your emotion. So again, shortly, if you want to reprove someone, you want to correct someone, and it is a commandment to do so. But first of all, you have to be sure that the person is doing the wrong thing, and you know what the right thing is. And then when you do correct him, you have to be sure that you don't offend the person or stab the person. And then even more, you have to be sure that you're doing it from love, that you really appreciate and value the other person. You have to call your intellect into the emotion. And that is today. Now we're going to do tomorrow's. Tomorrow's Yom Yom. Are we recording? Yes, we're recording. Okay. When Reb Moshe, the son of the Alter Rebbe, was between 8 and 11 years old, he was learning the Talmud, and he was learning the passages in the Talmud and Gittin that says that talking about the great wise men of Israel. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that he was perhaps the greatest of the great. He said, learn from my midot. That's what he said, learn from my midot. Now the word midot can mean two things. Midot are the, how do you say, the principles by which the Torah is learned. 13 midot, it says, the Torah, nidreshes by him. It said that the third midot means that the means of learning the Torah is written in sort of a code way, and that's what God gave it. And we have to use the midot, these, techniques in order to understand what the Torah is saying. That's the midot. So midot means you have to learn from my ways I learned the Torah. But the word midot also means character traits. Midot, how I act, right? If I'm mature, if I appreciate others. So we didn't know what it meant. Learn from my midot. Does it mean learn how I learn the Torah? Or does it learn from my personality, my character traits? So Reb Moshe was in doubt about the meaning of the word midot, because Rashi says midot means my teachings, the way I learn the Torah. But the word midot is usually used as character traits. At that moment, his father, the Alter Rebbe, came in and he said, and he used to speak in sort of a chant, a sing-song way, said, the Torah gave us, the Torah is all good character traits. Even all the punishments that are there, the laws, are in fact acts of kindness and goodness. If so, they turn to two interpretations, that the word midot means Torah learning, and the word midot means character development, are one, and they're independent. There can be no fine character traits without the Torah. And as when you learn the Torah, you have to think, these are the words of God, and God cares about me. That should make you small and humble. And that's the secret of character traits, good character traits. You're not an egotist. You don't feel everyone is always stepping on you, on me, right? Character traits. Good character traits means you're thinking about the Creator and not about yourself. And you're thinking about, why should I be in the world? God wants me to be in the world. So you're not so uptight. You can't really achieve that without learning the Torah and reminding that the Torah is the Torah of God. On the other hand, there can't be learning Torah without fine character traits. There's people that are talented. There's people that have a talent for intellectual things. People that are geniuses. There's people that are geniuses in chess, people that are geniuses in physics, right? A lot of them are Jews, right? And there's people that are geniuses in learning the Torah. But that doesn't mean that they have good character traits. A lot of them have terrible character traits. A lot of them are just ogres, really just vindictive. So it says you can learn the Torah, but it's not really Torah unless it brings fine character traits. So in other words, you can't really have good character traits. You can't really be humble without the Torah, and you can't really have Torah without humility. Have a good day with Mashiach now. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see each other. Have a good Shabbos with Mashiach now. We'll, God willing, see each other on Yom Rishon, Sunday at 8:15 in the morning, with God's help. Shalom.
Shalom. Looking forward.
Thank you.
Can
What?
I was gonna ask, can Mashiach come on Shabbos? That's what I was gonna ask.
That's what it says, and it says in the Gemara, Mashiach won't come on Shabbos, and the Rebbe said that Mashiach will come on Shabbos. It can come any moment. And that it says in the Gemara that he can't, this is Elijah the prophet will explain how that is. We'll have a question.
Also there are places in the world where Shabbos is a day ahead of America and a day behind also.
Sure, of course.
So it's very complicated. There's always
international dateline.
Right. So yeah, like in
It
Hawaii.
goes according to the place. That's what it says. It goes in, like midnight. Yeah, there's the midnight prayer. Well, always somewhere in the world, it's always midnight. It says at midnight the gates of heaven are open, and there's what's called the midnight prayer, tikkun chatzot. So, but only at midnight are the gates open. But it's always midnight somewhere in the world. So the gates of heaven are they open or they're not open? Or what is it? So the Alter Rebbe said that it depends on the place where you are. That's where the gate is, because the world is very important in Judaism. The world, this physical world, is more important than the spiritual world. So how things are reflected in the physical world, that's what depends on the spiritual world. So the Shabbat, the midnight down here, at that place where it's midnight down here, it's midnight up. The same thing with Shabbos, same thing with all the holidays. Okay, my friends.
Eretz Yisrael. It could be early afternoon here, and Shabbos is already over in Eretz Yisrael.
It depends on the place. That's why it's important that all the Jews should be together in Eretz Yisrael.
Right.
Another reason.